One thing you may not be aware of, and that's that the prophet Jeremiah had money. Yes, he did. He purchased land. He was economically active. He was. He was not a poor, murmuring, complaining, pathetic, sad, single prophet, like many Bible churches make of him. That man, Jeremiah, he was powerful. He was active. He was practical. When he longed for a companion, the Mosai told them, don't look for a wife amongst your own people. Because Mosai even told them why the Mosai didn't want him to do that. That implied he had to look for a foreigner. And in that time, he had no Tinder, no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no instant communication. So he had to go out there. And to do that, you need to have money. Because for traveling, you need finances. That was no problem for the prophet Jeremiah, absolutely not. When you read the book of Jeremiah in context, that man was blessed. He lacked nothing. He was bold. He was practical. He should be an inspiration for many of us today. Instead, Babylon churches pretend he was this pathetic complainer that the Most High even considered discarding. What? I heard this sodomite preacher lashing out at the prophet Jeremiah and with the aim to tell the congregation not be like Jeremiah. At the time, I didn't act out on it, but man, maybe I should have acted out on it. I really can't stand those sodomite Babylon preachers. I call them sodomites because when you agree against Christ, you agree against the natural order. Because Antichrist system is a homosexual, female-hating order. That's what it is. So if you agree with Antichrist and you pretend to come in the name of Christ, I consider you a sodomite. Because you're confusing people into the negative. But okay, I can't stand those folks talking down on God's people. Jeremiah had money. He was economically active. He was willing to take action. He was willing to go for what he wanted. Or else he wouldn't be able to endure that ministry had to that people. They did Jeremiah 30 since his teenage years. His own family murmured, complained about him, and the Most High told him, don't trust those relatives of yours. There were people threatening to take his life. So the Most High told them that those people would die horrible themselves. The politicians came after him, and there was even one time they threw him in a pit filled with mud. It was a foreigner, an Ethiopian, that heard what happened. An Ethiopian called people and got him out of that pit. There was a time that people came after him and the king told him, don't tell them what you came here for. Just tell them something else. And he did. Because Jeremiah knew he couldn't be honest and transparent with those people. He endured a lot of physical and mental suffering at the hands of that generation. They had such a dirty will against Jeremiah, but at the same time, they were sacrificing their children on altars to demons. Look at this, Jeremiah was prosperous. Instead of them being inspired and following Jeremiah's example, they went to evil spirits. They went to wizards. They sacrificed their children onto altars. That's why you had the Ben Hinnom Valley, where you had many skeletons of children. They just sacrificed them and discarded their corpses just like that. They were killing off the next generation. They were killing their own, just to get fake prosperity of entities that can't provide real prosperity. While you had a prophet there, anointed and active, but they went off at him. They wanted to take his life. Well, you know what? That's why the Most High told Jeremiah, don't pray to me for these people, because I won't listen to it. That generation, that people was out of hand. They were so enraged that they even began to go off at their own leaders. It went so far that the Pharaoh of that time had to intervene to prevent things from getting out of hand in Judah. Look, that's why the Most High handed them over to the Babylonians. The Babylonians were dumb that they transported that whole people all the way to Babylon. That cost a lot of money and effort. But Emperor Nebuchadnezzar wanted to prove himself. The Lord allowed it to happen. So now yet the Judeans in Babylon, Jeremiah previously told them to increase, not decrease. That's where Jeremiah 29 verse 11 comes from. And the Israelites there did it. So the children that were born now remained alive. Instead they ended up on pagan altars. And after a while, Babylon destroyed itself. What they did to the Judean population was wrong, but that led to their own demise. That's why the Most High allowed it. Not because the Most High supported Babylon. But the Judeans back then were just as bad as Babylon. Come on, killing your own kids. You claim to be God's people. Claim His name. But the heritage that you transfer to the next generation, instead of investing in the next generation, you kill them off. Yes, you want to claim the name of the Lord? Look, what I'm saying here is that just like they did Jeremiah 30, they'll do you dirty also when you walk in real prosperity. Jeremiah was prosperous. I don't want to hear any bad word about that prophet. If you do, I'll block you. Okay? I wish there were more people like Jeremiah walking around today. Now Jeremiah had his issues, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not idolizing him. But that man was prosperous. But those Sodomite, Babylon, filthy preachers that open their mouths and revile this, that prophet. You know what? I'll let the Most High Himself deal with those people when He returns. To you, I'm saying be inspired by Jeremiah. I'm not telling you to do everything exactly as he did. Be inspired by him. He had money. He was economically active. He was economically relevant. The same you should be. Be at peace.